ॐ शुक्लाम्भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. வாகர்த்தாவிவ சம்பிரக்தோ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே जगदः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्री पार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैर्नभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी द्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീരക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ട തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കെന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so we'll do a quick review of 36. Lata, can you do 36?
Sure, Rajesh. अत्रे पुत्रतया पुरा त्वमनसूयायां हि दत्तापिदो Jata Shishya Nibandha Tantritamana Swastasharan Kantaya.
Lata, one second. The tune, and then the four-liner tune. Atrev putrataya pura. Almost deep you can
Atre,
get it.
okay. Atre Putrataya Pura Tvamanasuyayam Hidatta Bidu Jata Shishya Tandritamana Swastascharan Kantaya. Drishto Bhaktatamena he hayamahi palena tasmai varan Ashtaishwaryamukan pradaya datitasvenaiva chante vadam.
And then a comma, the after the palena pradaya, the commas, right? Pause after that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Keep going. Yeah.
Satyam kartumatarjunasya chavaram tachaktimatranat. No, I think the tune is not correct.
Satyam kartumarta. Yeah. Sorry.
Satyam kartumatanajusya chavaram tachaktimatranatam brahmadveshitadakilam nrupukulam antum cha bhumir. No, I think the tune is not
No
correct.
worries. No worries. I'll pick you as a student. Radha, you want to do it? The 36?
Hi, Rajesh Garu.
Yeah. You want to do 36?
I'll try, Andy.
Okay.
Satyam kartumadarjunasya chavaram tachakti matranatam brahmadveshitadakilam rupakulam hamtum cha bhumirbharam samjato jamadagnito brugukule tvam renukayam hare ramo nama tadatmajeshva varajaha Pitro Radha Sammadam.
I think you picked up from Lata and you're continuing that tune. It's the
Illa,
same.
Rajesh, ore vati if you
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
mind.
I'll say it. The same tune as the first chapter, same as Rama Avataram, same as Narsimha Avataram, right? So, Labdhamnaya Ganashchaturdashavaya Gandharvaraje Manak Asaktam Kilamataram Pratipituhu Krodha Kulasyagnaya.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you want me to go, Radha?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Labdam naya ganashchaturdashavaya gandharvaraje manak asaktam kila mataram pratipituhu krodha kulasya tata jnati gasodarai samamimam चित्वात शान्तात् पितुः तेषां जीवनयोगमापितं वरं माता च ते दाद्वरान्. I don't think it's still correct.
That's okay, keep going. Continue. Yeah.
पित्रा मातृमुदेस्तवाहृत वियदेव नोर्निजादाश्रमात् प्रस्थायात भृगोर्गिरा हिमगिरौ आराध्य गौरीपतिं लब्ध्वा तत्परशुं तदनुजच्छेति महास्त्रादिकं प्राप्तो मित्रमता कृतवर्णमुनिं प्राप्यागमश्वाश्रमम् आकेटोपजगतोऽर्जुन सुरगवी सम्प्राप्त सम्पद्गणै त्वत्पित्रा
Ganaihi anga visarga.
सम्पद्गणैः त्वत्पित्रा परिपूजितः पुरगतो दुर्मन्त्रिवाचा पुनः गाक्रेतुं सचिवं न्ययुङ्कत् कुदीया तेनापि रुन्दुन्मणिप्राणक्षेपसरोषगोहत च मुच्चक्रेण वत्सो हृतः.
And the first and
missing
second line, and the first and second line also after that, Arjunaha Paripujitaha.
Arjunaha and
Yeah,
Paripujita,
there's
there is
visarga
a
there. Yeah.
comma. I have noted it, but in
And
the
the
tune
visarga
mala
also
no.
is. அந்த விசர்காவும் இருக்காங்க. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep going. Yeah.
शुक्रो जीविततातवाक्यचलित क्रोधोत सख्या समम् बिभ्रद्दयात् महोदरोपनिहितं चापं कुटारं शरान् आरूढः सहवाह यन्त्रकरतं माहिष्मति माविशन् वाग्भिर्वत्समदाशु शिक्षितिपतौ सम्प्रास्तुता सङ्गरम् पुत्रानामयुतेन सप्तदशभिश्चाक्षौ हिनिभिर्महासेनानिभिरनेकमित्रनिवहैः व्याजृम्भितायोदनः कुटारबाणविदलत्रिश्चेष सैन्योत्करो भीतिप्रद्रुतनष्टशिष्टतनय त्वामापदद्देहयः.
The last line Tanayaha Visarga is there.
तनयः त्वामापदद्देहयः.
Yeah, the third line mattum, I think some letters you missed it there. So Sadyastvatka Kuthara Bhana Vidalan Nishesha Sainyotkaro. Can you just repeat that line?
सद्यस्त्वकुटारबाणविद
Ka is there.
सद्यस्त्वक
Twatka. Twatka.
सद्यस्त्वक कुटारबाणविदलन्निश्चेष सैन्योत्करो भीतिप्रद्रुतनष्टशिष्टतनयः त्वामापदद्देहयः. लीलावारितनर्मदा जलवलल्लङ्केश गर्वापः श्रीमद्बाहुसहस्रमुक्त बहुशस्त्रास्त्रं निरुन्दन्नमुम् चक्रे त्वय्यत वैष्णवेऽपि विफले बुद्ध्वा हरिं त्वां मुदा ध्यायन्तं चित सर्वदोषमवधि सोगात् परं ते पदम्.
Dosham Avadhihi. Last line.
सर्वदोषमवधीः सोगात् परं ते पदम्. भूयो मर्षित हे हयात्मजगनैः ताते हते रेणुकाम् आज्ञानां हृदयं निरीक्ष्य बहुशो घोरां प्रतिज्ञां वहन् ध्यायानीत्रतायुधस्त्वमकृता विप्रद्रुह क्षत्रियान्.
The Vipradruhaha அந்த இடத்துல
विप्रद्रुहः क्षत्रियान् दिक्चक्रेषु कुटारयन् विशिकयन् निक्षत्रियां मेदिनीम्.
அங்க there also nihi and the kshar is coming, right? So that visarga nihi.
All the visargas have to say it explicitly. निहि क्षत्रियां मेदिनीं तातो जीवन कृतृपालककुलं त्रिसप्तकृत्वोजयन् सन्तर्प्यात समन्तपञ्चक महारक्तहृदौगे पितॄन् यज्ञेक्ष्मामपि काश्यपादिषु दिशन् साल्वेन युध्यन् पुनः कृष्णो मुं निहनिष्यतीति शमितो युध्यात्. You said something, Rajesh?
No, go ahead.
कृष्णो मुं निहनिष्यतीति शमितो युध्यात् कुमारैर्भवान्.
Yeah, and the pause is after nihanishyati. Okay, before shamito.
न्यस्यास्त्राणि महेन्द्र भूभृति तपस्तन्वन् पुनर्मज्जितां गोकर्णावधि सागरेण धरणीं दृष्टा दिष्टावार्तितस्तापसैः धृतालनास्त्रचकितं सिन्धुं शुभ्रक्षेपणात् उत्सार्योद्धृतकेरलो भृगुपते वातेश संरक्ष माम्.
So the first line, right? There's one comma after Nyasyastrani and then one after Tapastanvan. Okay, the first line.
Okay.
Very good. I think it's a tough chapter. I think words were all perfect. I think the tune mattum, just listen to it a few times, you'll get it. It's the same tune that we did for all the other chapters.
That we did for the first chapter.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to 37. So today, Shanti, you can be a student. Usha Garu for the first half. Second half, Ramya, you and Uma, you can be student. Okay. All right. So 37, there is Krishnavatara Prasanga Varnanam. So it's like a prelude to the incarnation of Krishna, Krishna Avataram, that kind of comes in the 38th. So this is what is happening before the actual Krishna Avataram, but connected to Krishna Avataram, right? So this one, it's like whatever we covered, or in the entire Narayaneeyam, whatever is covered until 36, you treat it like an appetizer you just had. And then the main entree you're going to have is starting from 37, goes all the way to 89. That is a core. And in fact, from 37 beginning to end of 88, the last stanza of 88 Dasakam is all Krishna Avataram, right? And in Bhagavatam, this is coming in the 10th skandam of Bhagavatam, right? The full 10th skandam has 90 chapters. So out of 3,900 slokams in Bhagavatam is dedicated to Krishna Avataram, which Bhadrapad is covered from 37th Dashakam to the 88th Dashakam. Pretty much everything that happens in Krishna Avataram is covered here, except for the thing that when Krishna is departing this world, that Bhadrapad has not covered, because he said you are not departed, you are still in Guruvayur. So according to me, you are still here. So you have not departed, right? So everything else is covered from 37 to 88. Now, however, in this session, we are only going to cover 37, 38 and 69, right? And then the next session, for everybody who is continuing, it's going to be the core of it is going to be all related to Krishna. From this 39 through that majority, that's what we're going to be covering. Okay. So stanza 1. Sandhranandatano hare nanupura daivasure sanghare त्वत्कृता अपि कर्मशेषवशतो येतेन याता गतिं तेषां भूतलजन्मनां दितिभुवां भारेण दूरार्दिता भूमिः प्राप विरिञ्चमाश्रितपदं देवैः पुरैवागतैः. So just like how the first chapter also started with Sandra Nandava Bodhatmakam, here also is starting with Sandra Nandatano. So say, oh Hari, you are who's nothing but the entire Sandra Nanda is like all the bliss. If I condense it and then give it a form, you are that form, right? So that Hari, what happened is in all the battle that happened in the past between the Devas and the Asuras, lot of them, in the Kurmavataram and all that, lot of the Asuras got destroyed. Kalanemi and some of them we'll see the names again. They all got destroyed. But however, not everybody had done enough punyam to get liberated, right? So because of which, a lot of them were still taking birth again, because they had so much residual karma left in them that these Asuras were still taking birth. And because these Asuras were still taking birth, what is obviously happening is, there is a lot of, wrong things which are happening there. So that's why, like Bhagavan has said, yada yada hi dharmasya. Anytime that is dharmam is not getting upkept and the bad people are there, I'm going to be born, right? So similarly here, what is happening is a lot of these Asuras were still getting born, and they were performing a lot of these atrocities as kings. Like we already saw in Parashuram Avataram how a lot of the Kshatriyas were getting rid of. But these Asuras were still getting born. So when this was happening, then Mother Earth, now here they say Mother Earth went and spoke, but it is just a, like a metaphor, right? It's kind of saying that the ruler of Mother Earth, Manu or whoever, felt that, this is unbearable. So then obviously they go to their predecessor, they go to Brahma, they go to Satyaloka and go and complain, saying that, there's too much atrocities happening, you have to help. So when they went there, they also saw that the Devas also had already reached Satyaloka for the same purpose. So Sandra Nandatano Hare, comma, Nanu Pura Daivasure Sangare, comma, Twat Kritta Api Karma Shesha Vashato, comma, Yete na Yata Gatim. सान्द्रानन्दतनोहरे ननु पुरा दैवासुरे सङ्गरे त्वत्कृता अपि कर्मशेषवशतो एतेन याता गतिम्.
Can I?
Go ahead, Shanti.
सान्द्रानन्ददनो हरे ननुपुरा दैवासुरे सङ्गरे त्वत्कृता अभिकर्मशेषवद वसदो एतेन ताता कतिम्.
एतेन याता गतिम्.
एतेन is okay.
Yeah, तेन याता गतिम्.
एतेन ताता गतिम्, right?
illa ya yatha yata.
That's not what it's here.
Okay,
Vasado.
just change it to yata then. Yatha.
Okay. Okay. Yata gatim सान्द्रानन्ददनो हरे ननुपुरा दैवासुरे सङ्गरे त्वत्कृता अभिकर्मशेषवसदो एतेन याता गतिम्.
सान्द्रानन्दतनो हरे ननुपुरा दैवासुरे सङ्गरे त्वत्कृता अपि कर्मशेषवशतो यातेन याता गतिम्. एतेन याता गतिम्. सान्द्रानन्दतनो हरे ननुपुरा दैवासुरे सङ्गरे त्वत्कृता अपि कर्मशेषवशतो एतेन याता गतिम्.
तेषां भूतल जन्मनां दिति भुवां भारेण दूरार्दिता भूमिः, so put a F, भूमिः प्राप विरिञ्चम् आश्रित padam. Virincham is referring to Brahma, so virincham ashrita padam, devaihi, put a F again, devaih puraivagataihi. तेषां भूतल जन्मनां दिति भुवां भारेण दूरार्दिता भूमिः प्राप विरिञ्चमाश्रितपदं देवैः पुरैवागतैः.
देशां भूतल जन्मनां दिति भुवां भारेण दूरार्दिता भूमिः प्राप विरिञ्चमाश्रितपदं देवैः पुरैवागतैः. देशां भूतल जन्मनां दिति भुवां भारेण दूरार्दिता भूमिः प्राप विरिञ्चमाश्रितपदं देवैः पुरैवागतैः.
Shanti, and the third line, first letter is ta, tesham.
Okay.
Okay.
तेषां भूतल जन्मनां दिति भुवां भारेण दूरार्दिता भूमिः प्राप विरिञ्चिमाश्रितपदं देवैः पुरैवागतैः. तेषां भूतल जन्मनां दिति भुवां भारेण दूरार्दिता भूमिः प्राप विरिञ्चिमाश्रितपदं देवैः पुरैवागतैः.
संचितुं हा हा दुर्जन भूरि भारमतितां पातो निधौ पातुकां एतां पालय हन्त मे विवशतां सम्पृच्छ देवानिमान् इत्यादि प्रचुर प्रलाप विवशाम् आलोक्य धाता महीं देवानां वदनानि वीक्ष्य परितो दध्यौ भवन्तं हरे. So Mother Earth, or the ruler Manu, is going and complaining, saying this bhuri bhara, I'm not able to take up the burden that all these asuras and the bad people are causing. It has kind of reached its peak. So he says, I'm not able to do anything. It's as if that I'm willing to give up and then, kind of put the earth back into the causal waters, which means get the pralayam done, because it's so much bad atrocities are actually happening at this time. And like anybody, when you go up to your boss for escalation, you say, if you don't trust me, ask the person next to me, right? So the Mother Earth is telling you, ask the devas, they are also aware what is actually happening. And so when they go and complain it to Brahma, so for Brahma, right, even for anything and everything, the first thing that Brahma does is He sits and meditates on the Lord. So in the Brahma Kalpa, which is the first day of the first life of Brahma, when he comes, the first thing, when there's absolutely nothing, he hears a sound which just says tapa tapa, which means just meditate. That's a sound he hears, right? So and then he starts meditating. And so he does it every single time. When Brahma has any problem, what he does is he then goes and first meditates on the Lord. So Brahma says, okay, I hear, but I also want to do my due diligence, right? So Brahma is saying, okay, I'm first going to meditate and then see what is actually happening. So Brahma goes into a state of meditation right now. So ha ha durjana bhuri bhara matitam, comma, pato nidhau patukam. So put a im there and put a comma, patukam. Next line, that metam becomes etam. Etam palaya hanta me vivashatam, comma, sampricha devaniman. Ha ha durjana bhuri bharamatitam pato nidhau patukam etam palaya hanta me vivashatam sampricha devaniman.
Ha ha durjana puri bharamatitam pado nidau padukam edam balaya hanta me vivasadam sampricha devaniman.
Shanti, in the first line, patho nidau, tha, second tha, patho nidau.
Patho nidau.
Yeah.
Ha ha durjana puri paramatitam patho nidau padukam edam bhalaya hanta me vivasadam sampricha devaniman.
Ha ha durjana bhuri bharamatitam patho nitau patukam etam palaya hantu me vivashatam samprucha devaniman.
Usha Garu, the second line, hanta. I think we said hantu, hanta.
Ha ha durjana bhuri bharamatitam pato nitau patukam etam palaya hanta me vivashatam samprucha devaniman.
Ityadi prachura pralapa vivasham. So that ma that is there, put a im, make it a im and put a comma. The next word starts with the a. Alokya dhata mahim, comma, devanam vadanani vikshya parito, comma, dadyau bhavantam hare. Ityadi prachura pralapa vivasham alokya dhata mahim devanam vadanani vikshya parito dadyau bhavantam hare.
Ityadi prachura pralabha vivasam alogya tata mahim devanam vadanani viksha parito tatyau bhavantam hare. Ityadi prachura pralabha vivasam alogya tata mahim devanam vadanani viksha parito tatyau bhavantam hare.
Ityadi prachura pralapa vimsham alokya dhata mahim devanam vadanani vikshya parito dadyau bhavantam hare. Ityadi prachura pralapa vivasham alokya dhata mahim devanam vadanani vikshya parito dadyau bhavantam hare.
Stanza 3. Uche chambuja bhura munai suraha satyam dharitrya vacho nanvasya bhavatam charakshana vidhau daksho hi lakshmi patihi sarve sharva purassara vayamito gatva payo varidhim natva tamstu mahe javaditi yayuhu sakam tava ketanam. So lotus born Brahma, so when he meditates and then he comes back and says, you know what, Satyam Dharitriya, whatever the Mother Earth is coming and telling me about this increase in Asura is true. I agree with it, right? I don't question that anymore. And then he says, he says, this is beyond my pay grade now, right? He says, I can't fix it either. So he says, what we all have to do is we all have to go to Lakshmi Patihi. He is the only source where we have to go and now ask for protection, because he is the next person who can really come and help here. So along with Sarve, all the Devas, along with Sharva, which is Shiva, right? So I think the Sa and Sha, that's a big difference there. So they all then go to Payovarin, they then go to your Vaikuntham. Now, like, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there are two Vaikuntams, right? There's one Vaikuntham which is outside this whole Brahmandam, beyond the 14 worlds. Once you go there, you cannot come back. It's only a one-way road, right? And that only happens at the end. Either you get complete mukti, or at the end of the complete life of Brahma, or all of these times it happens. So because everybody cannot go there, then how do they have access to the Lord? So like you have male Tirupati and Kil Tirupati, you have a mini version of Tirupati, right? They also have a mini version of Karana. It's called as a Karya Vaikuntham. It's in a place called Shweta Deepa, which is also one of the higher level planetary systems within the Brahmandam though. So anytime these Devas and Brahma, all these people have to go meet Mahavishnu, they then go to that place. And then that place also is very similar to the main Vaikuntham, but it's completely different from the main Vaikuntham, right? So here they go to that Payovaridhim, they go to that Vaikuntham, Karya Vaikuntham, and then they all go and start singing your praises so that they can now get access to you and talk to the Bhagavan. So Uche Chambuja Bhura Munai. So it's Cha Ambuja Bhuhu and Amunai, multiple words there. So you can't split it that way. You just say the whole word. Chambuja Bhura Munai Suraha, comma, Satyam Dharitriya Vacho, comma, Nanvasya Bhavatam Cha Rakshana Vidhau, comma, Daksho Hi Lakshmi Patihi. ऊचे चाम्बुजभूरमूनैः सत्यं धरित्र्या वचो नन्वस्या भवतां च रक्षणविधौ दक्षो हि लक्ष्मीपतिः.
ऊचे साम्बुजपूरमुनैः सत्यं धरित्र्या वचो नन्वस्या भवतां च रक्षणविधौ दक्षो हि लक्ष्मीपतिः. ऊचे साम्बुजपूरमूनैसुरा सत्यं धरित्र्या वचो नन्वस्या भवतां च रक्षणविधौ दक्षो हि लक्ष्मीपति
Patihi.
Patihi.
And the Suraha Angar Visarga in the first line, okay?
ऊचे चाम्बुजपूरमूनैसुराः सत्यं दरित्रया वचो नन्वास्या भवतां च रक्षणविधौ दक्षो हि लक्ष्मीपतिः. ऊचे चाम्बुजपूरमूनैसुराः सत्यं दरित्रया वचो नन्वास्या भवतां च रक्षणविधौ दक्षो हि लक्ष्मीपतिः.
Patihi. This short E you shall go at the end. Patihi.
Patihi. Okay. Thanks.
Sarve Sharva Puras Sara Vayamito, comma, Gatva Payo Varidhim, comma, Natva Tam Stumahe Javaditi Yayuhu, comma, Sakam Tavaketanam. Sarve Sharva Purassara Vayamito Gatva Payo Varidhim Natva Tam Stumahe Javaditi Yayuhu Sakam Tavaketanam.
सर्वे सर्वपुरस्सरा वयमितो गत्वा भयोवारितिं नत्वा तं स्तुमहे जवादिति ययुः सागं दवाकेतनम्. सर्वे सर्वपुरस्सरा वयमितो गत्वा भयोवारितिं नत्वा तं स्तुमहे जवादिति यहुः सागं दवाकेतनम्.
And Shanti, that word is Yayuhu. Yayuhu. Yeah.
सर्वे सर्वपुरस्सरा वयमितो गत्वा पयोवारिधिं नत्वा तं स्तमहे जवादिति ययुः साकं तवाकेतनम् सर्वे सर्वपुरःसरा वयमितो गत्वा पयोवारिधिं नत्वा त्वमहे जवादिति ययुः साकं तवाकेतनम्.
Stanza 4. ते मुग्धानिलशालिदुग्धजलधे स्तीरं गता सङ्गता यावत् त्वत्पदचिन्तनैकमनसः तावत् सपातोषभूः त्वद्वाचं हृदये निशम्य सकलान् आनन्दयन्नूचिवान् आख्यातः परमात्मना स्वयमहं वाक्यं तदा कर्ण्यताम्. So they all go there to this Karya Vaikuntham. So of course its place is extremely pleasant. So it says the Mugdhanila, it's very pleasant breeze flowing. It's very nice place to be. They're all extremely happy. They'll be looking to talk. So in Bhagavatam it says very nicely what they do. So they all say, they say the Purusha Suktam. It says Purusha Suktena Nopasthe. They pray because Purusha just means, no, Purusha doesn't mean a male. Purusha means a person who leads. That's why when you say for Narayana, it's called Purushottaman. So Purusha Uttaman, the one who is the greatest of the leaders, is the Purushottaman. So this Purusha Suktam is for the one who is the Purusha, who is the leader of the leader, right? So here Purusha Suktam, they all chant, and then Brahma is sitting and is sitting and meditating as well there. So at that time, so even all these things, right in the beginning also, this entire, when Brahma takes birth every day and everything, when he's in his day, when it comes out, he always gets the Vedic mantras in his mind. He first gets it right from the Lord. There's no that way he carries the knowledge. So anyway, so when Brahma is in a state of trance meditating, then he's also getting a message from the Lord now, right? So they are all praising the Lord. Now Brahma gets a response back, and then Brahma now says, so this is again this what is called as the Ashariri Vak, right? We're going to see some of that come later as well. Ashariri means one that has no body. So you're hearing the sound, you can hear it, but you can't see who it is coming from. You can't see the body from where the sound is coming from, right? So Brahma hears that voice, and then he tells the Devas that, listen, I have good news for you. So I have received communication back of what is actually going to happen. So let me tell you what the Lord told me, and that's going to come in the next stanza. But Brahma is saying, I listened to my words because it's all going to make you, extremely happy what I'm going to tell you now. So te mugdhanila shali dugdha. If you have jaladhehe, then put a is to join it. Some books already have the is there. Jalades tiram gataha, put a is again. Gatas sangata, and then put a plus. So the whole line is together. Then put a plus. Yavat tvat pada chintanaika manasaha. And then remove that is and put a visarga and a comma. Manasaha. So the whole first line, and then the second line after manasaha, put a comma. तावत् स पातोज भूः ते मुग्धानिलशालिदुग्धजलधे स्थिरं गता सङ्गता यावत् त्वत्पदचिन्तनैकमनसः तावत् स पातोज भूः.
ते मुक्तानिलशालिदुग्धजलते स्थिरं गता सङ्गताः यावत् त्वत्पदचिन्तनैकमनसः तावत् स पातोजभूः.
भूः, long u, last letter.
ते मुक्तानिलशालिदुग्धजलते स्थिरं गता सङ्गता यावत् त्वत्पदचिन्तनैकमनसः तावत् स पातोजभूः.
ते मुग्धानिलशालिदुग्धजलते स्थिरं गता सङ्गताय ते मुग्धानिलशालिदुग्धजल
Dugdha. Yeah, you're missing the dha there. Yeah.
दुग्धजलते स्थिरं गता सङ्गता यावत्पदचिन्तनैकमनसः तावत् सा पातोजभूः. Sorry.
So no worry. The second line, yavat tvat pada, the tvat word is there.
Okay. Yavat त्वत्पदचिन्तनैक. Okay. ते मुग्धानिलशालिदुग्धजलते स्थिरं गता sorry. Te mugda nilashali dugda jalathe stiram gata sangata yavat tatvatpada chintanaika manasaha tavat sapadajo
Pathoja bhuhu.
tapadhoja bhu.
Yeah.
I will practice.
No worries.
You want me go one more time?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Te mugda nilashali dugdha jaladhe stiram gata sangata yavat tvatpada chintanaika manasaha tavat sapato jabhuhu.
Yeah. Got it. Twadvacham hridaye nishamya, comma, Sakalan Ananda, if you want to break it that na, Sakalan Ananda Yennuchivan. Put a in at the end of the line. Yennuchivan, comma. Next time that na becomes a in the fourth line. Akyataha, put a f. Akyataf Paramatmana Swayam Aham, comma. Vakyam Tada Karnyatam. Twadvacham hridaye nishamya Sakalan Anandayennuchivan Akyatah Paramatmana Swayamaham Vakyam Tada Karnyatam.
त्वत्वाचं हृदयेन सम्य सकलान् आनन्दयन्नोऽसिवान् आज्ञातः परमात्मना स्वयमहं वाक्यं तथा कर्ण्यताम्.
Shanti, third line, the comma is after Nishamya, okay?
निशम्य, okay.
Hridaye Nishamya.
Okay. त्वत्वासं हृदये निशम्य सकलान् आनन्दपन् यन्नुचिवान् आज्ञातः परमात्मना स्वयमहं वाक्यं तथा कर्ण्यताम्.
त्वद्वाचं हृदये निशम्य सकलाम् आनन्दयन्नुजीवान् आख्यातः परमात्मना स्वयमहं वाक्यं तदा कर्ण्यताम्.
Usha Garu, the third line, Hridaye Nishamya and then comma, not after Sakalan, okay?
Okay, sir. त्वद्वाचं हृदये निशम्य सकलाम् आनन्दयन्नुजीवान् आख्यातः परमात्मना स्वयमहं वाक्यं तदा कर्ण्यताम्.
Stanza 5. Janhe dina dashamaham divishadam bhumescha bhimairnrpaihi tatkshepaaya bhavami yadavakule soham samagratmana deva vrishnikule bhavantu kalaya devanganaschavano matsevartamide tvadiya vachanam pathoja bhuruchivan. So Patho Jabu is Brahma. So he's saying, now this is what the Lord is telling me. He's communicating the message. He's saying even before we went and told him about our problems, Bhagavan was already aware of what is actually happening, right? And he also has a plan. So he says, Lord also confirmed to me that he knows the state of what is actually happening. And then he says to get rid of this, right? He's saying, where is it? Word I'm looking for. Yeah. So anyway, so he says to get rid of this, he says, I myself will come in my full potency and I'm going to be born in the clan of the Yadavas, right? So now there's all the avatars that we have seen so far that we saw, including the Kapila avataram and everything we saw. And there are a few others which we did not see also, which are there in the beginning. So like we said, it's not just 10 avatars. There are hundreds of avatars, right, which are there. The 10 are the top 10. Think of it that way. So even amongst all the avatars, only 2 avatars are considered as Purna avataram, which is Rama avataram and Krishna avataram. Every other avataram is what is called as a Leela avataram. It's just coming for one Leela. Like the Kurma avataram, he came to help with the Mandara mountain. That was a sole job that he took there. Vamana avataram, he came, he just did the measured the 3 steps and Vamana avataram is done, right? So those are all Leela avatarams. Only Rama and Krishna avataram are Purna avatarams. And there is the third type of avataram, like Balarama, we spoke about Lakshmana, right? So these are Ansha Avataram. So when the Lord comes, then his like Adishesha, the Chakram, everything he has also incarnate as different things to accompany him. So those are the Leela Avatarams which actually happen, which is what Balarama is, right? Now between this Krishna Avataram and Rama Avataram also, in Rama Avataram, Rama was what do you call, he showed, like they say in, there's a Rajnikant saying, நான் சொல்றதுதான் செய்வேன், I'll only do what I tell, I'll only tell what I do, right? So similarly, Rama Avataram is like, you have to follow what Rama does. In Krishna Avataram, you cannot follow what Krishna does. You have to follow what Krishna says, right? So the Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says, you have to follow. You cannot follow what Krishna does in Krishna Avataram. So Krishna Avataram is full potency. Krishna had, and we'll see, he has 16,008 wives. Not one of the wives got abducted, right? So I'm just telling it as a funny manner, right? I don't take it seriously, but but Rama, that's an example, like, because Krishna Avataram is like, there was no point in the Krishna Avataram where you felt like, anything is going to happen to Krishna. It is like actually like watching a Rajini movie. He never gets defeated, right? In Rama Avataram, Rama had to go through all those troubles. He had to go and do. So it's a different avatar. The incarnation is different. That's all it is. So that's why Bhagavatam says, Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. It's like the actual Lord came in full potency as Krishna Avataram, right? With absolutely no restrictions, no boundaries or no limits, right? In Krishna Avataram. Now, before Biden visits any country, he first has to send his security people to make sure everything is fine, and then an entire troop flies with him in Air Force One, right? Similarly, before Krishna Avataram happens, Krishna says, all you devas here, all the deva patnis who are here, who have been wanting to serve me, right, and who have been so devoted to me, you also are going to get a chance. She says, you all are going to be born in the Vrishni clan, in the Yadava clan first. You're going to go and set it up. You're going to set up the entire Yadava clan, and then I am going to come, right? And then when I come, then the select people there who live with me. So there are people who are going to be born before Krishna in the Yadava clan. Then there are people who are going to be with Krishna, right? So those are the even more selected people, because you'll get to serve me directly. So you will see this, or you remember this stanza, because later on when we see Krishna Avataram and everything that is actually happening, you'll all be like, how blessed are these people? And then people, they say, what punyam they must have done in their previous life, because they are not mortals. They are actually devas who have been constantly praying to the Lord, and then they got the blessed opportunity to be born along with the Lord and then serve him as if he is a human, right? When he is there in Gokulam, in Vrindavanam, in Mathura, Dwaraka, all of that stuff which we'll see. Anyway, so he says, I am going to be born in full incarnation, and then all of you Deva Patnis are all going to be also born, and then that's what is going to happen. So Jane Dina Dashamaham, comma, Divishadam Bhumescha Bhimair Nripaihi. So put a visarga at the end, Nripaihi, comma. Next line, the is goes away. Tat Kshepaya Bhavami Yadavakule, comma. Soham Samagratmana. Janhe Dina Dashamaham Divishadam Bhumescha Bhimair Nripaihi. Takshepaya bhavami yadavakule soham samagratmana.
Jane dina dasamagam divishatam bhumescha bhimairvaihi takshepaya bhavami yadavakule soham samagratmana.
The first line, Shanti, dashamaham, after that the comma.
Okay. Jane dina dashamaham divishatam bhumescha bhimairnibaihi takshepaya bhavami yadavakule sogam samagratmana.
Jane dina dashamaham divishadam bhume cha bhimairnupaihi takshepaya bhavami yadavakule soham samagratmanam. Jane dina dashamaham divishadam bhumescha bhimairnupaihi तत्क्षेपाय भवामि यादवकुले सोऽहं समग्रात्मना
Deva Vrishnikule Bhavantu Kalaya, comma, Devanganash Chavanau, comma, Mat Sevartamiti Tvadiya Vachanam, comma, Patoja Bhuruchivan. It's Patoja Bhuhu Uchivan and all that. Just say that word together. Patoja Bhuruchivan. Deva Vrishnikule Bhavantu Kalaya Devanganaschavano Matse Vartamiti Tvadiya Vachanam Pathoja Bhuruchivan.
देवा वृष्णिकुले भवन्तु कलया देवाङ्गनाश्चावनौ मत्सेवातमिति त्वदीयवचनं पादोजभूरुचिवान् देवा वृष्णिकुले भवन्तु कलया देवाङ्गनाश्चावनौ मत्सेवातमिति त्वदीयवचनं पादोजभूरुचिवान्
देवा वृष्णिकुले भवन्तु कलया देवाङ्गनाश्चावनौ मत्सेवार्धमिति त्वदीयवचनं पाथोज भूरुचिवान् देवा वृष्णुकुले भवन्तु कलया देवाङ्गनाश्चावनौ मत्सेवार्धमिति त्वदीयवचनं पाथोज भूरुचिवान्.
Chapter 6. Shrutva karnarasayanam tava vachaha sarveshu nirvapidasvanteshvisha gateshu tavaka kripa piyusha triptatmasu vikyate madhurapure kila bhavat sannidhya punyottare dhanyam devakanandanam udavahat rajasa shuratmajah. So with this, when the Lord says, "Don't worry, I myself I'm going to come," these people are like, "Okay, then absolutely nothing to worry," because hearing that, it's like karna rasayanam, it's like nectar to their ears, because there's nothing more they could have asked for, right? The Lord says, "I myself I'm going to take care of it." So once all of that has happened, then they all disperse, they all kind of go back to there, because now they all have to prepare for their portion incarnation also to happen, all the devas and deva patnis and everybody. So then fast forward. Then the city of Madura. So people also now says Mathura, but the actual word is Madura, because it's Maduram, it is sweet like honey. So it's like same in South India we have Madurai, right? The same root word is Madhu, which is honey. So it's a very sweet city, right? Now they say even before the Lord was born, that Madura Vrindavan was a very blessed city. So that's the reason even the God is taking incarnation in that city amongst all the places he's going to be born there, because that itself is a very pious city, which then becomes Bhavat Sannidhya Punyotre. Now after you having been born there, it has become even more better, right? And the Madura, they refer to the entire region of Gokulam, Mathura, Vrindavan, that tri-city area, right, or tri-region area. So all of that area, it's become even more blessed because of you being born there. Anyway, so in that region, there was a king called as Shurasena. That king called Shurasena was the head of the Yadava clan at that time. He was the ruler of the Yadava dynasty. And then that Shurasena had a son called as Vasudeva. This Vasudeva is then getting married to Devaki. That's what is so Devaka Nandana means her father's name is Devaka. That's why her name is Devaki. So they both are getting married now in Madura. Shrutva Karna Rasayanam Tava Vachaha, comma, Sarveshu Nirvapita, put a plus, Swanteshvisha, and then put a comma, Gateshu Tavaka Kripa Piyusha Triptatmasu. Shrutva karnarasayanam tava vachaha sarveshu nirvapita swanteshvisha gateshu tavaka kripa piyusha triptatmasu.
Shusvaka.
So somebody had a question?
No.
Go ahead, Shanti.
Should I?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
श्रुत्वा कर्णरसायनं तव वच सर्वेषु निर्वापित स्वान्तेष्वीस कदेषु तावगकृपा पीयूष तृप्तात्मसु.
And the first line vachaha. Okay. Tava vachaha.
श्रुत्वा कर्णरसायनं तव वचः सर्वेषु निर्वापित स्वान्देष्वि स कदेषु दावगक्रूपा पीयूषतृप्तात्मसु
श्रुत्वा कन्नरसायनं तव वचः सर्वेषु निर्वापितस्वातेष्विष गतेषु तावक् कृपापीपयूषतृप्तात्मसु श्रुत्वा कन्नरसायनं तव वचः सर्वेषु निर्वापितस्वातेष्विष स्वातेष्विष
In sound, swanteshvisha.
स्वान्तेष्विष गतेषु तावक कृपापीयूषतृप्तात्मसु
Vikyate madhurapure, comma, kila bhavat sanidhya punyottare, comma, dhanyam devaka nandanam. If you want, if you can break that mu that you have, you can put a im and u if you want to say it that way. Nandanam udavahat raja. It's udavahat raja, but it's a dra letter coming there. Udavahat raja sa shurat majaha. So the entire line is continuous. There's no pause there. विख्याते मधुरापुरे किल भवत् सान्निध्य पुण्योत्तरे धन्यां देवकनन्दनामुदवहत् राजा सशूरात्मजः
विख्याते मधुरापुरे किल भवत् सान्निध्य पुण्योत्तरे धन्यां देवः नन्दनामुदवहत् राजा स शूरात्मजः.
Third line, Madhurapure, after that there is a comma, okay?
Okay. विख्याते मधुरापुरे किल भवत् सान्निध्य पुण्योत्तरे धन्यां देवः नन्दनां मुदवहत् राजा स शूरात्मजः.
विख्याते मधुरापुरे किल भवत् सान्निध्य पुण्योत्तरे धन्यां देवकनन्दनां मुदवहद्राजसु सशूरात्मजः विख्याते मधुरापुरे किल भवत् सान्निध्य पुण्योत्तरे धन्यां देवकनन्दनां मुदवहद्राजसशूरात्मजः.
Okay. All right, we'll just switch halfway through. So I think we said Uma and Ramya, right? Yeah. Answer 7. Udvaha vasitau tadhiya sahajah kamsota sammanayenne etau sutataya gatah patirate vyomotaya twadgira अस्यास्त्वामति दुष्टमष्टमसुतो हन्तेति हन्तेरितः सन्त्रासात् स तु हन्तुमन्तिकगतां तन्वीं कृपाणीमधात्. So then the Devaki Vasudeva marriage happens. So the Vasudeva now mounts Devaki onto the chariot, right? Now they're newly married and they're about to leave. So at the time, Devaki's brother Kamsa, who is the son of Ugrasena, who was the king of the Madura there. So he then says he loves his sister a lot. So he says, you know what, for you, I myself will be the charioteer. So he tells his charioteer to get down, and Kamsa's, he takes over the reins of the horses, right, of the chariot, and then he starts driving along with all the dowry and everything. They have hundreds of golden chariots and elephants and horses, everything, right? And he says, I will personally come and drop you at your house. So when Kamsa starts that's when he hears this, like we said, the Ashariri Vak, the sound he hears, right, which says, Tvam ati dushtam. He says, that boy says, you are an extremely cruel person, Kamsa, right? You are so wicked. But not only are you wicked, you are also foolish. It says, because the same person whom you are now riding in the chariot, whom you are taking, the 8th son of her is going to be the person who is going to kill you. So you are not only wicked, you are also extremely foolish also on top of that. You are helping your own person who's the lady whose son is going to kill you. So Kamsa hears that noise. Now the reason Kamsa is hearing, because now, technically the Lord is anyway going to be born. Kamsa doesn't have to know about it, right? Devaki will have 8 kids. 8th kid is going to eventually get rid of Kamsa. The reason Kamsa has to know about this because that is going to trigger a chain of events which have to happen, and we'll find out why those events have to happen later, right? So that's why it was intentionally that message was put into Kamsa so that he will take necessary steps to avoid it, and that is going to result in more things which are going to happen, right? So anyway, so Kamsa is now told. So Kamsa, who is now trying to take control of the chariot, now when he hears this eighth child of Devaki is going to get rid of him, he immediately gets down from the chariot without thinking, and then he takes his sword out, and the first thing that comes to his mind, he pulls Devaki's hair, and he takes his sword out from his hand, right? That's what is happening so far. So udvaha vasitau tadiya sahajaha, comma, kamsota sammanayan, put a in there, sammanayan, comma. Next line, that in and ne, if you have, you can remove that, just a. Etau sutataya gataha, put a f, gataf, pati rathe, comma, vyomotaya twadgira. Udvaha vasitau tadiya sahajaha kamsota sammanayan Yetau sutataya gatah patirate vyomothaya twadgira.
Udvaha vasitau tatiya sahajah kamsoda sammanayan yetau sutataya gatah patirate vyomotaya twadgira.
Vyomotaya. Second, Vyomotaya.
Vyomotaya twadgira. Udvaha vasitau tatiya sahajah kamsoda sammanayan yetau sutataya gatah patirate vyomotaya twadgira.
Vyomotaya.
Vyomotaya twadgira.
Udvaha vasitau tadiya sahajaha kansota sammanayan etau stutataya gatah patirate vyomotaya twadgira. Uddaha vasitau tadiya sahajaha kansota sammanayan etau sutataya gatah patirate vyomotaya twadgira.
Asyas Twam Ati. So this is what you can break it. I'll break it, but you can either break it and say or say it together. Asyas Twam Ati Dushtam Ashtama Suto, comma, Dushtam Ashtama Suto, comma, Hanteti Hanteritaha, comma, Santrasat Satu Hantum Antikagatam Tanvim Kripanim Adhat. So Tanvim Kripanim Adhat. So that line is together, no pause in the last line. Asyastvam atidushtamashtama hanteti hanteritah santrasat satu hantumantikagatam tanvim kripanim adhat.
Asyaswamadi dushtamashtasudho hanteti hanteritah chandrasat saduhanta madika tanvim kripani madat.
And that fourth woman, the fourth line, hantum antika gatam. Hantum antika.
Hantum antika gatam.
Correct.
Asya swamadi dushtamashtashuto
Ashtama.
Asya swamadi dushtamashtama hanteti hanteritah chandrasat saduhantam hantum antika katam tanvim kripani madat.
Asya
Okay, inga சொல்லுங்க.
Asyastva mati drushtama ashtama suto hanteti hanteritah santrasat satu hantum antigatam tanvim kripani madhat. Asyas Asyaastvam Asyastva
Tvam ati, if you want to break it there. Tvam ati.
okay. Asyaastvam ati drishtama ashtama suto hanteti hanteritah santrasat satu hantum hantum antigagatam tanvim kripani madat.
The third line, Ramya, is dushtama. You said dr. Tvam ati dushtam.
Tvam api dushtam.
Yeah. Stanza 8. गृह्णानश्चिकुरेषु तां खलमतिः सौरेश्चिरं सान्त्वनैः नो मुञ्चन् पुनरात्मजार्पणगिरा प्रीतोतयातो गृहान् आद्यं त्वत्सहजं ततार्पितमपि स्नेहेन नाहन्नसौ दुष्टानामपि देव पुष्टकरुणा दृष्टा हि धीरे कदा. So this Kamsa was previously so affectionate to his sister, right? The moment he heard that his life was at risk, right, that he was going to get killed, then his completely, all the affection, all the history completely went away, right? And he was ready to now kill Devaki. So he now holds Devaki by her hair. He takes a sword out on the other hand and he's about to kill. So at this time, Vasudeva realizes that you cannot fight with Kamsa because Kamsa is extremely powerful. So Vasudeva now approaches him in a very peaceful manner. And he says, Kamsa, like you are like the king, you are the Bhoja Raja, and then you are known to be so wise. How can a person like you kill a woman? That too, you're going to be killing your own sister, who is like your daughter, your younger sister, who is like your daughter, and that too on the day of your marriage. So just imagine if you end up going with this, what will everybody else think of you, right? So he tries to address it to him that way, to say, emotionally he tries to talk. But then he realizes that Kamsa doesn't seem to be bothered by it at all. He is more concerned about his life. So he says, all of that doesn't matter. Devaki's son is going to be getting rid of me, so I want to kill. So now Vasudeva thinks, okay, there's no use trying to convince him this way. So Vasudeva then contemplates and thinks that worst case, I'm going to lose a few children, right? Because his hope is either whatever that Ashirari Vaka said is going to be true, in which case the eighth son is going to get rid of Kamsa, and Kamsa is anyway an evil guy, so it's good in one way. But he has the collateral damage for him is 7 children. That's one possibility. The second possibility he's thinking is even if the Ashirari Vaka is wrong, then maybe Kamsa will die in a battle or something earlier, and I don't have to lose all my children. So Vasudeva is kind of thinking through all these options and says, right now for me to protect Devaki, the only option that is left, so he says is, why do you worry? You don't have to worry, because whatever that my children that we are actually getting, we will actually come and give it to you. So you decide, because the problem is with the children, not with Devaki or me, right? So whatever children are coming, we will come and hand it over to you, and then you decide whatever needs to be done. So then Kamsa then agrees to this, and then he then lets Vasudeva and Devaki go, right? He says, okay, but he trusts Vasudeva on his words. So then what happens, I think, okay, so yeah, then Vasudeva Kamsa then lets him go at this point, right? Out of compassion to each of them, he says, okay, I trust you, but every child who's actually going to be born, you have to come and hand it over to me. So Grinnanash Chikureshu, Grinnanash Chikureshu Tam Khalamatihi, Saureshchiram Santvanaihi, put a visarga there, Santvanaihi, next line on top of that, no, if you have a ir, you can remove that. No munchan punar atma jarpana gira, punar atma jarpana gira, preetota yato grihan. गृह्णानश्चिकुरेषु तां खलमतिः सौरेश्चिरं सान्त्वनैः नो मुञ्चन् पुनरात्मजार्पणगिरा प्रीतोतयातो गृहान्.
गृह्णानश्चिकुरेषु तां कलमतिः सौरेश्चिरं सान्त्वनैः नो मुञ्चन् पुनरात्मजार्पणगिरा प्रीतोतयातो गृहान्. गृह्णानश्चिकुरेषु तां कलमतिः सौरेश्चिरं सान्त्वनैः नो मुञ्चन् पुनरात्मजार्पणगिरा प्रीतोतयातो गृहान्.
गृह्णानश्कुरेषु तां खलमतिः शौरैश्चिरं सान्त्वनैः नो मुञ्चन् पुनरात्मजा पनागिरा प्रीतोत यातो गृहान् गृह्णाश्च गृह्णानश्कुरेषु तां कलमतिः शौरैश्चिरं सान्त्वनैः नो मुञ्चन् पुनरात्मजार्पणागिरा प्रीतोत यातो गृहान्
आद्यं त्वत्सहजं तथार्पितमपि स्नेहेन नाहन्नसौ दुष्टानाम् अपि देव पुष्ट करुणा drishta hi dhire kada. So actually I forgot to say that. So the first child is born, right? So he lets Kamsa, lets Vasudeva, Devaki go. The first child is born. So when the first child is born, Vasudeva, as promised, goes and gives it to Kamsa. So because that, then when Kamsa sees the small baby and sees that it is his sister's child, he then felt so affectionate towards it. He says, how can I go get rid of this small baby which is born right now, right? And that's what Vasudeva was banking on. He was banking on Kamsa looking at the baby and then feeling more affection towards it. So he says, no, you know what, it's okay. This baby cannot do anything to me. So he sends the baby, he sends it to Vasudeva back, saying nothing is going to happen. You can take this baby back. So Bhattaripad is saying, even for the Dushtanam, even for the extremely wicked people, is a little bit of compassion that sometimes comes. So because of which Kamsa is letting that baby go. So Adhyam, okay, we already said that. Adhyam tvatsahajam tatarpitamapi snehena nahannasau दुष्टानामपि देव पुष्टकरुणा दृष्टा हि धीरे कदा
आद्यं त्वत्सहजं तथार्पितमपि स्नेहेन नाहन्नसौ दुष्टानामपि देव पुष्टकरुणा दृष्टा हि धीरे कदा आद्यं त्वत्सहजं तथार्पितमपि स्नेहेन नाहन्नसौ दुष्टानापपि देव पुष्टकरुणा दृष्टा हि धीरे कदा
आद्यं त्वत्सहजं तथार्पितमपि स्नेहेन नाहन्नसौ दृष्टानामपि देव पुष्टकरुणा दृष्टा हि धीरे कदा.
The fourth line, first letter, dushtanamapi.
आद्यं त्वत्सहजं तथार्पितमपि स्नेहेन नाहन्नसौ दुष्टानामपि देव पुष्टकर्णा दृष्टा हि धीरे कदा.
9. तावत्त्वन्मनसैव नारद मुनिः प्रोचे स भोजेश्वरं यूयं नन्वसुरासुराश्च यदवो जानासि किं न प्रभो मायावी स हरिर्भवद्वदकृते भावी सुरप्रार्थनात् इत्याकर्ण्य यदूनधूदुनदसौ सौरेश्च सूनूनहन्. So when Kamsa then lets the first child go, right, saying nothing is going to happen. So for Narayana, no, Narada Muni is the brand ambassador. And he's also like, because without Narada going saying Narayana, Narayana, nobody will know the word Narayana, right? He's completely spreading the word. And also, he's one of the few people who knows everything that is going to happen in the future, right? And he's one of the few people who also has access to Vaikuntham and all that. Anyway, long story about Narada, but Narada at strategic points, he comes and then kinds of guides the direction. So if he finds out that as per the Lord's plan is not getting executed because some people out of their free will are doing some things different, then Narada has to come and steer them in the right direction, right? And he does it only to benefit Bhagavan, no other reason. That's his sole mission in life. So here when Kamsa comes and says first child is okay, Pavam, it's a baby, my sister's son, why will I do anything to it? So Narada comes and says, oh Kamsa, don't you realize that your clan, you guys are, I know all the atrocities you do. the Yadavas, the Yadu Kulam, they are like the Devas. It's like Devas only have taken incarnation as Yadavas, right? And all this, the baby you are letting go, right? You don't know, this could be Hari's trick, because Hari is told, you've been told that you're going to get killed. So Hari maybe is the one who's going to come and kill you, and you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe, Hari may trick you, right? Maybe the firstborn child is going to be killing you and not the eighth-born child. What is the proof that the eighth only is going to kill you? So he kind of comes and stirs all this in Kamsa's head and said, do not let any of these things go, right? Your goal is to protect your life. So go and get rid of these children. So what then Kamsa does, the first thing he does is, he then, Devaki Vasudeva, who he had let go, he first arrests them. He arrests Devaki, he arrests Vasudeva, he arrests Vasudeva's father, he puts everybody in jail. Then he gets rid of the first child, and then he also eventually every child that is actually getting born, first 6 children, every time the child is getting born, Kamsa then goes and gets rid of the child. So there is this 6 children are called as Shad Garbhas, 6 Garbham, Shad Garbha are the 6 children. And the reason this had to happen, and this will also come later, but I'll tell you, because Krishna tells the story to Devaki. Devaki says, you're doing all these things to Krishna later on, right? Says, how come my 6 children I lost? So Krishna says, those were not your children. Just because it was born to you, right? They only had a very small karma left, and you just happened to be the carrier of those babies, right? Even if you were not there, those 6 children were going to be born, those 6 children were going to die. And the reason for that, he says, is this Hiranyakashipu's son Prahlada, we all know, we saw that in the Narasimha Avataram. He also had another person called as Kalanemi. So this Kalanemi had several children who previously were born to Marichi, sage Marichi, and they were extremely, religious and extremely pious children, who then were born to Kalanemi, right? And then because they were born in the clan of Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu says, you have to say Hiranyaya Namaha, which Prahlada says, I won't say. But even the 6 children also said, of his grandchildren also said, we are not going to say Hiranyaya Namaha, right? And then they prayed to Brahma, they got a lot of boon and everything, saying they cannot be killed by all this. But the good thing was they did a lot of meditation and everything. So, but because Hiranyakashipu was also powerful, they said, because you did not listen to my words or your father's words, you're going to get killed by your father, which is by Kalanemi. But then these children had done enough good karma. There was very, very little karma left for them. And then they had to die at the hands of Kalanemi. So this Kalanemi is who is then born as Kamsa. And this is all going to come later also at various points. This word is going to come. The references to this is going to come. So here it is not, they're not saying that, but I'm just saying this so you get the context. So Kalanemi is then born as Kamsa. And these 6 children of Marichi, who were the grandchildren of Hiranyakashipu, are born as the 6 Shad Garbhas, and then Kamsa was then getting rid of them. And this, they are going to come back later in the stories as well. But anyway, so that's where Krishna says, don't think of them as your children. Just because you're born to them, they are their individual soul. They are following their own journey. They just picked you to be born in your womb because they knew that Kamsa is going to get rid of the 6, and that's why they were actually born. Right? So that is a context Krishna explains later also. Anyway, so Krishna and then Kamsa then arrests everybody, 6 people, 6 children he kills here. So Tavat Twan Manasaiva Narada Munihi, Proche sa Bhojeshwaram, Yuyam Nan Vasuraha, put is Nan Vasuras Surascha Yadavo, Janasi Kim na Prabho. तावत्त्वन्मनसैव नारदमुनिः प्रोचे स भोजेश्वरं यूयं नन्वसुरासुराश्च यदवो जानासि किं न प्रभो.
मनसैव नारदमुनिः प्रोचे स भोजेश्वरं यूयं नन्वसुरासुराश्च यदवो जानासि किं न प्रभो. दावत्वं मनसैव नारदमुनिः प्रोचे स भोजेश्वरं यूयं नन्वसुरासुराश्च यदवो जानासि किं न प्रभो.
तावत्त्वन् मनसैव नारदमुनिः प्रोचे स भोजेश्वरं यूयं नन्वसुरासुराश्च यदवो जानासि किं न प्रभो. तावत्त्वन् मनसैव नारदमुनिः प्रोचेस भोजेश्वरं यूयं नन् वसुराश्च यदवो जानासि किं न प्रभो
मायावी स हरिर् भवत् बद कृते comma bhavi sura prarthanath, put a it there comma. Next line the d becomes a e. Ityakarnya yadhuna dhudu nadasau. So you cannot break it properly here. So you have to say the whole word together. Yadhuna dhudu nadasau comma saureshcha sununahan. मायावी स हरिर्भवत्पदकृते भावी सुरप्रार्थनात् इत्याकर्ण्य यदूनदूधुनदसौ शौरेश्च सूनूनहन्.
मायावी स हरिर्भवत् पदकृते भावी सुरप्रार्थनात् इत्याकर्ण्य यदूनदूदु नदसौ सौरेश्च शूनुनहन्. मायावी स हरिर्भवत् वदकृते भावी सुरप्रार्थनात् इत्याकर्ण्य यदूनदूदुनदसौ सौरेश्च शूनुनहन्.
मायावी स हरिर्भवद्वदकृते भावी सुरप्रार्थनात् इत्याकर्ण्य यदूनदसौ
धुनदसौ. அங்க வந்து two long dus. Yadhu na dhu du. Then the third dhu is a small u.
यदूनदसौ शौर्यश्च सूनूनहन्. मायावी स हरिर्भवद्वदकृते भावी सुरप्रार्थनात् इत्याकर्ण्य यदूनदसौ शौरेश्च सूनूनहन्.
प्राप्ते सप्तमगर्भतामहिपतौ त्वत्प्रेरणान्मायया नीते माधवरोहिणी त्वमपि भो सच्चित्सुखैकात्मकः देवक्या झठरं विवेशित विभो संस्तूयमानः सुरैः स त्वं कृष्ण विधूय रोगपटलीं भक्तिं परां देहि मे. So after all the 6 children were killed, so then Krishna, so anytime, like we said, the Lord comes, the Yoga Maya, who's the energy of the Lord, which is the feminine aspect of the Lord, which is the energy, Shakti. So the Yoga Maya also always descends in various forms. So here the Lord tells Yoga Maya, few things are going to happen now. He says, one, my part incarnation, Adishesha, is going to be now born to Devaki. Right, when it's going to be born into Devaki, because that he is going to go, like we said, he's going to go and set up the place for me to come. Right, so Adishesha is first going to be going and born as Balarama. So when the 7th child is born, I want you, and the time is right, I want you to transfer this baby from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, who is also Vasudeva's wife, because Kamsa started imprisoning and all these things, driving people out. The people started spreading into various places. So Nanda Gopa, all that we'll see later. So he's a very close friend of Vasudeva. So Rohini is staying with Nanda Gopa. So Bhagavan says to Yogamaya, you transfer this baby from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. Right, that is number 1, 7th. And then he also gives Yogamaya some instructions, which only comes in 39th chapter, of what she has to do once the Lord is born, which we'll see later. Anyway, so Devaki now has the 7th pregnancy happens, where Adishesha is born into it. And when before the birth, what happens is, or sometime before, the baby is transferred into the womb of Rohini, and the baby is born in Gokulam, which is few kilometers away. And now Devaki, in Devaki essentially basically has a miscarriage, right? Because the baby is no longer there in her womb. So Devaki, everybody is upset. Nobody knows what has happened. And then, when this happens, then Kamsa also comes in and feels, okay, this miscarriage has happened. So there's nothing much I can actually do about it. So that story ends there. And then at the very end, it says, Devakya Jhataram. So finally, when the appropriate time is right, you, O Lord, you enter into the womb of Devaki, right? And the moment you enter into the womb of Devaki, all of a sudden, already pregnant women know they are shining, right? Now, Devaki was shining even more. And Vasudeva was also, even he was also shining, and the entire place was getting lit because the Lord himself has now entered. And the Devas and everybody who know that all this has happened, they come and do prayers, they come and visit them in prison. Of course, Vasudeva, Devaki don't know all this, but they devas all come, even Brahma, Shiva, everybody come, and then they pay homage to the Lord who's now going to be born, who has now entered into the womb of Devaki. So that Krishna, Satvam Krishna, that you Krishna, please viduya roga patini, please eradicate all the ailments I have, and bhaktim param dehime, and please bestow on me supreme devotion to you. So with that, Bhattari part ends 37th, because the avataram is only going to happen in 38. So prapte saptama garbhatam ahipatau, comma, tvat preranan mayaya, and then put a plus, nite madhava rohini, comma, twamapi bhoho, put a is bhos, satchit sukhaikatmakaha. प्राप्ते सप्तमगर्भतामहिपतौ त्वत्प्रेरणान्मायया नीते माधवरोहिणीं त्वमपि भोः सच्चित् सुखैकात्मकः.
प्राप्ते सप्तम गर्भतामहिपतौ त्वत्प्रेरणान्मायया नीते माधवरोहिणीं त्वमपि भोः सच्चित्सुखैकात्मः. प्राप्ते सप्तम गर्भतामहिपतौ त्वत्प्रेरणामायया नीते माधवरोहिणीं त्वमपि भोः सच्चित्सुखैकात्मः.
प्राप्ते सप्तमगर्भता अहिपतौ त्वत्प्रेरणान् मायाया नीते माधव रोहिणीं त्वमपि भोः सच्चित्सुखैकात्मकाः. प्राप्ते सप्तम गर्भताम् अहिपतौ त्वत्प्रेरणान्मायया नीते माधवरोहिणीं त्वमपि भोः सच्चित्सुखैकात्मकः.
देवक्या जठरं विवेशित विभो, कॉमा, संस्तूयमानः, पुट इस संस्तूयमानः सुरैः, कॉमा, स त्वं कृष्ण विधूय रोगपटलीं, कॉमा, भक्तिं परां देहि मे. देवक्या जठरं विवेशित विभो संस्तूयमानः सुरैः स त्वं कृष्ण विधूय रोगपटलीं भक्तिं परां देहि मे.
देवक्या जठरं विवेशित विभो संस्तूयमानसुरैः सत्वं कृष्ण विधूय रोगपटलीं भक्तिं परां देहि मे. देवक्या जठरं विवेशित विभो संस्तूयमानसुरैः सत्वं कृष्ण विधूय रोगपटलीं भक्तिं परां देहि मे.
देवक्या जठरं विवेशित विभो संस्तूयमानसुरैः स्त्वं कृष्णविधूय रोगपटलीं भक्तिं परां देहि मे. देवक्या जठरं विवेशित विभो संस्तूयमानसुरैः स्त्वं कृष्ण विधूय रोगपटलीं भक्तिं परां देहि मे.
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. I think we're exactly on time, 9 o'clock. I wanted to cover a few stanzas of 38, but I think we ran out but it's okay. As long, we have to spend some time understanding this also, right? So you get more context about it. We'll end the class here today. सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावधिभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you, everybody.
Can I
Thank you, Rajesh.
review this chapter next week, Rajesh garu? I missed today. Can I review this chapter next week?
No worries. Yeah. We'll
Thank
see.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Rajesh garu.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.